Chapter 67. Jacob's Blessing. Genesis 49, 1-33. And Jacob called unto his sons, and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Gather yourselves together, and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. Simeon and Levi are brethren. Instruments of cruelty are in their habitations. O my soul, come not thou into their secret, unto their assembly. Mine honour, be not thou united, for in their anger they slew a man, and in their self-will they digged down a wall. Cursed be their anger, for it was fierce, and their wrath, for it was cruel. I will divide them in Jacob, and scatter them in Israel. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down. He couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? The sceptre shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Binding his foal unto the vine, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine, he washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Zebulun shall dwell as the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Issachar is a strong ass, couching down between two burdens. And he saw that rest was good, and the land that it was pleasant, and bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path that biteth the horse heels, so that his rider shall fall backward. I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. Gad, a troop, shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. Out of Asher his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainties. Naphtali is a hind let loose. He giveth goodly words. Joseph is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. But his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. Even by the God of my father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under, blessings of the breasts and of the womb. The blessings of thy father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be in the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. Benjamin shall raven as a wolf. In the morning he shall devour the prey, and at night he shall divide the spoil. All these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is it that their father spake unto them, and blessed them. Every one according to his blessing he blessed them. And he charged them, and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham brought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for a possession of a burying place. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife, and there I buried Leah. The purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth. And when Jacob had made an end of commanding his sons, he gathered up his feet unto the bed, and yielded up the ghosts, and was gathered unto his people. Genesis 49, 1-33. Having adopted Ephraim and Manasseh, Jacob summoned all 12 brothers. He speaks to them as a prophet of God, verses 1 and 2. He begins with Reuben. the firstborn should represent the father's strength, dignity, and power. Very early he should be his father's right-hand man. But with bitterness, Jacob recalls Reuben's incest with Bilhah, verse 3. From our perspective, this is neither prophecy nor a blessing. However, to prophesy means to speak for God, whether or not one foretells the future, and it is God's judgment Jacob pronounces. The truth, moreover, in its own way, is a blessing if we receive it properly. Simeon and Levi are then cited as instruments of cruelty in their massacre of the Shechemites. Their anger is cursed, and they are divided and scattered in Israel, verses 5 to 7. Levi's scattering became a blessing as they became the servants of God. Simeon's later faithfulness to God led them to unite themselves to Judah. Both tribes turned a curse into a blessing. A long blessing, verses 8 to 12, is pronounced on Judah. His shall be the royal and messianic line. Shiloh, meaning he whose power it is, the Messiah, shall come through Judah. Judah shall be a conquering people. The royal scepter shall remain with Judah until Shiloh comes. Zebulun is then blessed in verse 13. It shall be a people grown rich on seafaring men and traders. We have no historical record for or against this. In verses 14 and 15, Issachar becomes a type of a powerful but peaceable trading people, and this made it important to its enemies and meant at times that alien powers ruled over it. Dan, verses 16 and 17, became a tribe of judges and also like a serpent, quote, in the path, end quote, striking at its enemies. As the northern tribe, Dan was in a strategic position for attacks against invaders. Samson was a Danite. In verse 18, Jacob exclaims, I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. He looks ahead to the fullness of the messianic salvation. In verse 19, we are told that when the enemy presses Gad, Gad will finally overcome them. In verse 20, Asher was settled in the sea coast north of Carmel, a rich area where Asher prospered and provided delicacies for royal tables. Naphtali, verse 21, is like a free deer, as apt at goodly speech as at quick flights and defensive action. In verses 22 to 27, Joseph is described as a fruitful bough, although some render it as bull or calf. This is the longest part of the blessing, although Judah's blessing is very long and even stronger. He is presented as a man who cannot be kept down, a God-ordained power that men cannot control or destroy. In this blessing, God is strongly invoked, and Joseph is declared to be, quote, separate from his brethren, end quote, singled out by God, verse 26. God's blessing on Joseph has confounded all his enemies. Then comes the strange blessing on Benjamin, verse 27. He is compared to a beast of prey, a savage wolf. Militarily, Benjamin proved to be a fierce warrior tribe, active against the evildoers of Gilead, Judges 20, fighting to overthrow the tyrant Sisera, Judges 4 and 5, noted for its archers and slingers, Judges 20:16, 1 Chronicles 7:40 following, et al. And active with Saul and Jonathan against the Philistines, 1 Samuel 13:1 following. Jacob then charged all his sons with a responsibility for his burial in the family plots where Abraham and Sarah, Isaac and Rebekah and Leah were buried, verses 30 to 32. Having done this, Jacob pulled his feet up into the bed and then died, quote, gathered unto his people, verse 33. The statements concerning Reuben is of interest because Jacob speaks of him as, quote, unstable as water, verse 4. James Moffat paraphrased this as lost by surging lust, end quote, and Rabbi Meir Zlotowitz rendered it as water-like impetuosity, end quote, and he described it as an act of anger. With Rachel dead, Reuben tried to destroy any tie between Jacob and Rachel's maid Bilhah by rendering her unfit for Jacob by an incestuous act. The bitterness of Jacob remained to the end. 1 Chronicles 5, 1 and 2 tells us that the birthright was given to Joseph, and in a sense also to Judah, through whom the Messiah was to come. Seelheimer rendered, quote, "Unto him shall the gathering of the people be," verse 10, as, quote, "and the obedience of the nations is his." This would indicate a rule far beyond Israel. The word obedience is a better translation than, quote, gathering, end quote. The prosperity of Judah's descendants is described by the expression, quote, "His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white as milk," verse 12. For the sons to listen to this from their father could not have been easy, but it was a more than an ordinary religious rite. Jacob's hard life had its moments of revelation from God. He was in fact a prophet. Joseph had been greatly used by God and was the more powerful person, but Jacob had experiences unknown for some generations beyond his day, not until Moses, in fact.